Hey everyone, I'm Keith Kosinski, coming to you from Santa Clara, California, where we're just days away from the big game. But before we get to that, we're going to take you back 50 years to when the very first Super Bowl was played. It's Thursday, February 4th, and Channel 1 News starts right now.
We'll check in with Keith later in the show and get back on the gridiron. But first, let's take a look at what's making headlines. Across the country, millions of Americans have been hit hard by severe weather. People are dealing with destructive tornadoes, snowy blizzards, and rising floodwaters.
It's in the water tower!
At least 12 reported tornadoes tore through the South Tuesday.
Tornado on the ground, tornado on the ground.
This one touched down in Scuba, Mississippi, and made it all the way to Alabama, leveling homes and leaving a path of destruction that stretched across both states. The same storm that fueled tornadoes in the South created blizzard-like conditions across the Central Plains. It caused a whiteout in southwestern Minnesota. The snow was coming down so fast, drivers couldn't see, so roads were closed. And more than a foot of snow fell in parts of Nebraska. Over in Rankin County, Mississippi, firefighters rescued at least 8 people from rising floodwaters. Yesterday, President Obama made history, marking the first time he visited a U.S. mosque since taking office. President Obama visited the Islamic Society of Baltimore to correct what he called a hugely distorted impression of Muslim Americans. They told the president they faced increased bias against their faith.
They talked about how their children were asking, are we going to be forced out of the country? Are we going to be rounded up? Why do people treat us like that? Conversations that you shouldn't have to have with children, not in this country.
And it comes at a time when Muslim students say they are being targeted. Mosques have seen growing protests, and Donald Trump called for a temporary ban on Muslims entering America. President Obama said Christians and Jews in America should stand together for freedom of all religions. All right, coming up, why your last post on social media could affect your future chances of landing a job.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
That's why we're here. We're free and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos. Go to GetSchooled.com.
All right, guys, Asia's here, and today we're talking jobs. But it's not just about a good resume or interview. It's about what you posted today on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, be careful about what you post on social media because it could come back to haunt you when you're applying for that dream job. Take a look. Anitha Benjamin is no stranger to social media.
I use LinkedIn, and then I use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all of that.
But when the college grad started looking for a job last year, she was careful about what she posted.
I was thinking that I should definitely keep it professional because it's all online and everyone can see everything that you're posting.
And new research shows that's a good move because businesses are definitely looking. A report from the Society for Human Resource Management finds 1/3 of companies have disqualified a job candidate in the past year because of information found on their social media accounts. In another survey, Office Team asked hiring managers the most common social media mistakes job applicants make. 45% said posting negative or inappropriate comments. 35% said posting or being tagged in inappropriate photos.
If you're too opinionated, too negative, it can really come off to some individuals that you could be a problem in the workplace.
And if you think staying offline is the answer, think again. 17% of hiring managers questioned job applicants who didn't post regularly or didn't have a social media profile at all. Keeping it professional online worked for Anita.
The way that people perceive us is very important.
She recently got a corporate job right out of college. And by the way, when it comes to applying to college, a recent report found that 40% of college admissions officers take a look at potential students' social media. So we want to know, do you think about future jobs or college applications when posting on social media? Let us know by going to channel1.com and make sure you leave your comments.
Thanks, Asia. All right, next up, we touch down into the history of America's biggest game night.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Science Sleuth campaign, take 1.
The money's gone missing from the school's science club fundraiser. There's money that's gone missing? We need to find it.
It's just a game on your phone.
Play DoSomething.org's Science Sleuth game on your phone. You use science and math to recover the money. According to my calculations, money is hidden.
Could you please just read the script?
Play the game and you can unlock a real-life donation to a science classroom in need. To play, just text CLUE to 38383. Got it.
This Sunday, the Denver Broncos and Carolina Panthers square off in the 50th Super Bowl. But as Keith Kosinski shows us, the game hasn't always looked the same.
American football is a sport of hard hits, huge plays,
In for the touchdown.
heroic moments,
Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
and a game millions of fans love. What do you enjoy most about the game?
Playing it. Excitement, like it just get, I just love the competitive aspect of the game. Just where I grew up, that was just what you did.
It's a big American sport, and I think that most everybody loves it.
Over 114 million people watched Super Bowl 49 last year. That's over 1/3 of all the people in the United States. And this Sunday marks the 50th edition of this cultural phenomenon. But even before the first big game was played nearly 50 years ago, a lot went into making the sport a hit. The history of football is enshrined here in Canton, Ohio, at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Here the halls echo with the sounds and images of some of the biggest plays, most influential moments, and star players who built the game into what it is today. The National Football League was established here in Canton, Ohio in 1920, but the game had been played for decades before. The first college football game was played in 1869. Originally, it was a combination of soccer and rugby. Later, rules were developed to separate the new game.
It wasn't the high-scoring, passing game that you see today. It was really a running and a kicking game. Actually, a touchdown was worth 4 points and a field goal 5, so you could actually win a game by just kicking a field goal even though the other team scored a touchdown.
And it wasn't just the game that looked different. So did the equipment and football itself.
The football definitely has changed. You can look at the size and shape because when football started, you didn't throw the ball. It was more of a push or a lob. It's shaped more like a watermelon. The helmet started out with a nose guard. All it did was cover up the nose and a little bit of the mouth, and that obviously didn't work very well.
Equipment has gradually changed and improved over time. But pro football is still a game of hard hits and injuries.
Oh my goodness.
However, it doesn't compare to the game of the past.
It was a dangerous game in the early days, and there were, in the early days of football, broken limbs, even deaths.
As pro football gained popularity, it also faced considerable challenges. In the 1920s, the game survived the Great Depression by moving out of small towns into big city markets, creating larger fan bases. The next big challenge came as the United States entered World War II in 1941, when thousands of American men were sent to serve.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles had combined teams. They became the Phil Pitt Steagles. The team in Cleveland in 1943 couldn't even play because they didn't have enough players.
Just like the United States, professional football made it out of this dark time into a new age of prosperity, television, and opportunity, opening up to black Americans.
Paul Brown, who was coach of the Cleveland Browns, he didn't care what race, color, creed you were. As long as you could move that football 1 yard further, he wanted you on his football team. And so in 1946, he went out and he signed Bill Willis and Marion Motley, who were both African-American players. When nobody else was drafting African-American players, he signed those players.
And pro football became even more competitive. The American Football League was founded in 1959 and became the NFL's rival. As the competition between the two leagues grew, they decided to face off in one big game to see who was number one. The first Super Bowl was played in 1967 between the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs, but what it did was create a cultural phenomenon that continues today. Eventually, the two leagues merged. It was the beginning of the new era NFL.
In the first Super Bowl, I think tickets were maybe $5 for general admission. They were having a hard time giving them away.
Today, the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of sports, and those tickets are now much more pricey. The cheapest ticket on StubHub for Super Bowl 50, over $3,400. For most players who score their own chance to make it to the big game, it's a dream come true.
It's awesome. You get out here, you don't know what to expect, and now that we're in this opportunity, it's special, and you got to take advantage of it.
It's my child dream, I'm just soaking it all in at one time.
And that dream will come true on Sunday for one team as they hold up the Lombardi Trophy.
Thanks, Keith. All right, guys, we're out of time, but we'll see you right back here tomorrow.
And along with
Taylor,
Maya,
and Leah.
And it's Thursday, February 4th, Day B, National Homemade Soup Day. And now would you please rise for the pledge of the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may now be seated. Please listen to our morning announcements.
Today's weather, mostly cloudy today with a high of 52 degrees. For a lunch, breaded fish fillet, mashed potatoes, and steamed broccoli. Dessert, fresh fruit choice, along with your original healthy milk.
Happy birthday to Jerome Mead, who celebrates his birthday today. Let's hear that birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Blow your candles out and make your wishes come true. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
The library is closed today. I repeat, the library is closed today. Today's shark announcements.
Do you have an overdue book? If so, please return the book as soon as possible. If you return the book this week, there is no late fine to pay.
Attention Reading Olympics. Please hand in your t-shirt and pizza money to Miss Sabatini by next Friday, February 12th. The cost is $12, and you must pay in cash, no checks. Remember, we will be meeting every Wednesday during homeroom until the competition.
Are you a fan of the books Cinder, Scarlet, and the Lunar Chronicles? Then come out to Barnes & Noble in the Chamonix Mall this Monday to see the author of these books, Marissa Mayer. She will be there from 6 until closing.
And now here's Leah.
Cheerleader. We'll have practice today until 4:20.
Only 2 weeks away until the start of Broad Street training. Your paperwork needs to be turned in to Miss Franklin, room 201, before the first practice.
Arctic Club is selling pretzels every Wednesday to raise money for community service. We donate food cards to those organizations in need in the Ben Salem community.
Shafer Sharks, have you been following the Sharks Creed by being prepared for classes and homeroom? Are you being highly positive and by greeting your teachers and adults in the building? Have you been respectful to your peers and adults alike? Be a true Shafer Shark by following the Sharks Creed in being positive, prepared, and respectful.
Does your binder look like this? Do you need help organizing your locker and books?
Leah, I think you need some help.
No, me? Oh. You may be right. Do you need help with a subject? Come down to the guidance office to sign up for peer tutoring by 8th grade NJHS students on Thursdays after school until 4:10. Tutoring will begin on February 11th.
In celebration of Black History Month, let's reflect on a quote from Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.
And that concludes the show for today. Make this day a good one.
Keep it classy, stay beautiful.